Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So for today's message, I realized I didn't have a reading for tomorrow, and I work a double today, and then I work in the morning tomorrow, so I didn't really have time. So we're just hopping on. I thought, let's just like whip out a message real quick and see what comes through. And then as I was kind of like gathering everything and getting the decks, I got the download that there has been an energetic shift, that nothing will ever be the same, that the energies have been almost like flipped up on themselves. And so they showed me this scene, and like everyone kind of like looking around in like complete shock, like what the heck just happened? And everyone kind of wanting to be like, did you do this? Did you do this? And then it kind of brought me to a poker game. And then I saw the underdog, or the wild card. That's what we'll call them in this reading, the wild card. It was somebody, the wild card finally presented their cards, and they're like, read them and weep, boys, kind of energy. And I saw this scene, the collective energy of everyone else being like, what, you? Like, you did this? You changed everything? Because this wild card, I think that the others thought that they were the rebels, or the people in power, that they had control of all this situation, that there was no way that they would never not be able to pull the strings. And so this wild card I get was very, they don't present themselves as what a wild card should be. This wild card I almost see is just almost like a meek energy. They presented themselves as very quiet. I feel like that they were like observers in the background, and they were always observing. They showed me that they were very good at the mind, that they can observe and actually collect data and actually know what's going on. So maybe there's a bit of like intuitiveness or something that they could pick up on. They could read the scene, but on their face, you couldn't tell that they were so tapped in or spiritual as they were. So they showed me a lot of karmic cycles going on, or patterns, and it's almost like spirit was just allowing it to go on and on and on and on. And like it said, the people pulling the strings thought that it would never unravel, right? It would never be, they'd never lose control or power, pretty much. And so one day, I just feel like the cockiness got like off the scale. They're just like kind of being mean to others, taking advantage of others. And so the wild card was like, this is my chance. This is my chance to like pull the rug, show my cards, show my hand. And it shocked so many people, because I feel like once this wild card showed their cards, like there's no more hiding. Like they had to step into their power. And everyone is just kind of standing there in shock now, because like they said, it was almost like topsy-turvy. Like everything got thrown up in the air so that it can be sorted out now. Because this wild card, I get, my throat, I get that this wild card is like wild compassion. Like this is a wild heart, but they're very mental clarity as well. And so when you put compassion with the heart and the clarity, I feel like that their vision and their purpose that they see, again, is the bigger picture, is the higher good of all kind of energy. And so I see them seeing injustice happen for quite some time, and they just had to like sit back and like wait for the perfect moment. And it was hard to watch that injustice for a while, but it's like in this slow long game, it's finally like again, I see the cards, read them and weep, boys. And then the people who are controlling, I'm kind of getting is like, they're scared, they're nervous, they're weeping. So that's the download I got this morning. Let's pull some cards and see what this story actually really wants to share. Because I want to know who this wild card is. What is this situation? Like, what the heck is going on? Why are you telling me this, right? So, cards we're going to use. First ones I felt drawn to was Sacred Spirit cards. Then I was drawn to the Witch's Tarot, followed by the Moonology, because I heard that it has to do with something with timing. And that's why it was like they held their cards so close. I almost feel like people thought that they were like for the wild card, I get like, oh, don't pay them any mind. Oh, they're just simple. They're just whatever. Like, I don't know. That's the energy I get. Like a dismissive, that's just them. And these were the 3 I picked. And then I felt called to go back and get the archetype. So I actually want to start off with the archetype. I want to know, I want to know who is this wild card. And so we've got Father in reverse with dictational control, abuse of authority. So I'm hearing 3. And I don't get that this wild card is a father or in the shadow attribute. I think that's what they were fighting against. They didn't like the it's like dictator, but it's Oriole at the end. Dictatorial control. My mouth doesn't want to say it. But they didn't like that other people were trying to control all the situation and it came at a disadvantage to others. So in the light attribute, it's a talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And so that's what I feel like that's what their heart always was. They really did embody this masculine energy. So we got a masculine. Is this a masculine? That's the wild card. I think it is. I feel like a masculine has just been sitting back and letting things happen. And everyone being like, oh, they're just oh yeah, they must have been sensitive. Because we got the poet. And the poet says, expresses soul insights in symbolic language. And then we have teacher in reverse. And it says, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. So let me just kind of see. Oh, and I want to pull a spirit card to go with this. So we've got Father in reverse with a poet and a teacher. Okay. So I was like, who is this wild card? Like, what am I picking up on? And especially with like the poet and the symbolic language, I see it that it is someone who is a teacher. That's someone who speaks. It's almost like they're so fantasy, right? When they speak, it's almost like they're just telling you a fantasy or a story. So I see everyone kind of dismissing them as like, oh, they're always talking about pie in the sky type things, blah, blah, blah. But I think if everyone actually stopped and listened to them and actually went a little bit deeper into this poetry that they're sharing, it's like it's from the soul. As this one said, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And then, so that's what I see is like someone who has stories, or it's almost like I'm seeing the poetry as stories, and I'm seeing that these stories could be things like mythology or just their day stories, but there's a learning lesson to it, right? The teacher. But people aren't listening to it because they're always just like, oh, you're such a fantasy person, like you're out of touch from reality. I'm almost seeing like rose-colored glasses. And so yeah, everyone just was like, yeah, they talk about what they want all the time, but like pay them no mind. It's almost like, you know how sometimes you see on the street and there's like that crazy person with the sign that's like, the world is ending. It's almost kind of like that energy of just dismissing someone, like, oh, they say all this stuff all the time, but don't listen to them. And so that's why I think they could go under the radar, because everyone's like they're the underdog, they're the wild card. But what I get is not so much that they're like that person on the street saying like, the world's gonna end. Listen, like they were more quiet and subtle and in the background. It's almost like I get someone, okay, I see someone who's just happy all the time, that they're just like part of the group. And you know, it's like, I'm seeing like surfer energy, like a surfer, like, you know that life, like you just wake up and you just want to catch a wave and just enjoy the sun, like the simple things in life. And it's like finding beauty in the small things. So that's what I see. I see like that poetry as beauty in the small things, and everyone being like, oh, they're just like a stoner or a surfer type energy, lazy kind of thing. but they never were, because they were this teacher. And when it comes to like masculine energy and control, it's like they didn't like what they saw, but they sat back and knew that the timing wasn't quite right, because they were collecting all these downloads and these insights, and right, they've got symbolic language. And what is this symbolic language about? I just really want to get all the cards so I can be like this and this and this and this. Okay, what's the teacher in the upright? It says ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skills, or wisdom. And I feel like at one point they used to share everything that they did, because they knew. I feel like this is a very intuitive person, and everyone would just be like, oh, they're crazy. Don't listen to them. Oh, they're lazy. They're whatever. Okay, but with this teacher in reverse, as this card says, it's their north node. It's their north node to teach, to share this poetry and this light language. And when I said light language, there was 2 cards I pulled. We have Divine Will. This was in reverse. This was clarifying the teacher in reverse. This person is meant to share their story, or it's almost like they have prophetic visions, but it's not even that. It's like poetry. I'm getting mad chills right now. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's like, yeah. Okay, so this one came out to clarify with the Father in reverse and the poet energy. Here she is. She has her hand on his heart, and then it like ripples out. I'm getting that it's a masculine energy that I'm picking up. Who is this wild card? You know, I guess, okay, that's really what I'm picking up, but I guess gender is just a thing, right? Energy is energy. It could be the masculine energy within you. But I really am picking up in this story that there is a masculine energy who knows a lot more, who has so much more depth, and they're very balanced in their masculine energy. That they've tapped into this loving, nurturing side. And that's where they have like love and poetry. And so maybe when it comes to like guys and standards, right, they're meant to be controlling. They're meant to be, right, as this said, dictatorial and, you know, authority. But instead, this one is like a talent for creating and supporting life. This one is more heart-centered, this masculine energy. And it says, new love is forming. So if you're not connected in your heart, that's what I get, is like you can't express your soul. You can't do any of this. And so I feel like that this person, as it said, timing is important in this. So it wasn't quite time to step into that, because we have one here. It's the waxing crescent moon. It says, have faith in your dreams, but it was in reverse. So what about dreams? Okay, when I see dreams, as this one says, pay attention to your dreams. It's not dreams. This person's a poet. This person's an artist. And oh, look at here. They're sitting there looking at the night sky. And so the night sky, I again don't think that it's dreams. At nighttime, right? When everything's gone, when we're in the blackness, right? In night, that's when we can tap into our intuition a little bit better. It seems like in the daytime, right? Like even right now, I'm doing laundry. I really hope you can't hear the dryer, but I really need them to be dry for when I go to work. There's so much buzzing and things going and cars and lawnmowers and, you know, there's just noise. But at nighttime, there's that quiet. And there's nothing for you to distract yourself with. So with this masculine energy, I'm getting, it's not dreams that they get. It could be prophetic dreams, but what I get is they're getting so much insights and downloads, and like, right? It's just filling their soul up with like all this wisdom and this knowledge. And so it is time for them to step out and share that story, right? They're a teacher. They're meant to communicate knowledge. So at nighttime, they're gaining and filling up all this. It could be meditation. It could be whenever you go into that void to listen. But this masculine energy was always meant to share. But I feel like somewhere in it, everyone just brushed them off. Like, you don't have much to share. But look at all this gold. It's like they have been just like soaking it up and soaking it up and soaking it up. And so now here she is speaking her poetry and sharing that. The teacher says the ability to communicate. This wild card, their lesson, that's what I kind of get, is like they came up to the plate. Now I'm seeing baseball for some reason. They came up to bat and they tried and they tried and they tried. And it was like strike three, you're out. Because you really can't talk to people who have deaf ears to hear. Even if you have the most profound insight, you can go and tell someone, but if they're consciously not at the same level for that information yet, they could hear it, but they can't understand it, is what they're saying. And so I feel like that this person just got tired and tired and tired, and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep this for myself. And that's why this is in reverse, and the teacher's in reverse. It says, let go of fear. The fear I get is more so it's not a fear of being seen. I almost got that it was such an annoyance all the time that this person was like, I've got something so magical to share with you, and people just didn't want to hear it. And I feel like when you present someone with something and they don't accept it, that hurts your heart. And so they got tired of being rejected. So that fear of rejection had kind of stunted them. And that's where now they're saying timing is coming into play for this. So the next card to come out that is time sensitive. This one says here, step out of your comfort zone, right? Who cares if you get rejected, right? Because maybe you say that word to them and they don't listen to you, but you said it. It's in their subconscious somewhere. And someday when this new hand is going to be revealed, when everything gets flipped upside down, when the rug's pulled, those words are going to be there and they're going to remember what you said, and it's going to click. And that clicking is a time for healing. So it's important for this wild card to stay wild. Don't dull yourself down. It's time for you to express, as it says, express your soul's insights in symbolic nature. And that's what I get, right? Especially when it comes to our downloads, to our everything. It is in symbolism and colors and shapes and whatever. And it's hard to interpret, and I feel like you understand the interpretation of this. So it's time to take that, and maybe, what am I seeing? I'm seeing before the wild card, right? And we're gonna use these ones to incorporate the actual, what happened, because I feel like they finally revealed their hands. They finally were like, you know what, I've healed enough, and I'm not scared of people not listening to me. I am going to step into my role as a teacher and just express my love, because especially if this is a masculine energy, to be more sensitive, to be so passionate, to be all that, is rare. And I'm hearing it's a breath of fresh air. So it's a time for healing. Yeah. I feel like, okay, oh, and sorry, my insight that I saw was like, what did I see? I saw maybe in that time when this poet is not trusting in themselves, right? They've been rejected a couple times by sharing their vision or song or poem, and then they kept it to themselves. And so now Spirit's saying, we would like for you to channel that into art, or, you know, into a poem, into a song, into a something. these insights are so, and that's what I feel like they've been doing, is they've just been collecting insights and downloads and creating. And so now I almost feel like if they are like writing down poems, they've almost got like a whole book. And they've just been holding their cards, that each poem, each insight, each download is a card. It's a tool. And now is that time for healing. It's almost like they've seen other masculine energies really control and try to, as this one said, dictate the control of others. And so now I feel like that it's time to share, to communicate, maybe release that book or your poem, or just speak up. And to be honest, I maybe it might get made into a book, but that's not quite what I see. I see oh, this one goes here, this one goes here, and this one here. The healing, the shift, the whole change comes with you just revealing your hand. So what does that mean? Okay, so over here, look, I pulled cards, because what does this hand revealing mean? Maybe it is a book, but let's just see if it plays out in this. So we have Four of Pentacles in reverse. In the upright, Four of Pentacles is all about someone holding on to things and being stingy, right? So there is a need to step, and this landed on this card, step out of your comfort zone. And underneath that was the Poet. There is a need to share your cards finally, right? Here he is holding it to his chest. In reverse, it's like, just let it go. Don't even care, because you are this energy, right? You are balanced. You have the masculine and the feminine. You've got the heart. You've been observing very clear, because the heart is the one guiding and leading. You're getting a lot of messages from spirit, and I feel like the only thing that's keeping you at a block is that other people don't want to hear these. They say, oh, these stories are too wishy-washy. Like, you are pie in the sky fantasy. Like, get grounded, get to reality. Like, grow up already is kind of what I get. And it's funny because you're a little bit more mature, so they need to do a little bit of emotionally growing up. So there you are. It's saying release it, bring it back. And then so over here we have the shadow side. There's a little bit of fear, right? This divine will is saying let go of fear. The fear is, what am I getting? Well, the shadow side is something like that is this fear. But what this landed on, the shadow side landed on this and the Father in reverse. It's like a fear of, am I in balance? Am I, as again, like as this one is Poet and love and stuff. And the fear is like everyone tells you like, no, you need to be like a strong leader. You need to not put emotions. You're too, I'm hearing the word sissy or prissy or something mean like that, but it's not true. It's just people's projection. And so the shadow side, when I look at this card, I'm seeing the masculine side look at the feminine. And then there's like a little figure in the back. But it's almost like the masculine side is at war within themselves about the feminine energy within them. Because as this one said, father controlling, it's abuse of authority. And there's a little bit of this feminine energy coming through. So the next one to come out is the Hermit in reverse. This is like what you are supposed to do. So this card was talking about like what within you are you doing that you're not meant to do. And that's that battle within yourself about what the feminine energy within you is. I feel like you really need to incorporate that feminine energy in order to break free of this cycle of abuse of authority, and finding that gentleness and that compassion. I feel like this energy has a little bit more of a sensitive side, and everyone says that, like, things about that. You're too passionate, you're just too much. But it's not true. If anything, you're very balanced. And so there's this war within you, thinking like you have to try and be like everyone else, or, you know, I'm just going to remove myself from society because I'm so tired of everyone else having an opinion or judgment on me. Just pay that no mind, because here we have the Hermit card. It was in reverse. This is what action you are supposed to take. Hermit is all about being alone and isolated. This one's saying it's time for you to come back to society and share the new ways of being. A little bit of the outcome, we have the Page of Swords. This is just like the underlying energy of it all. And so I feel like you, whoever this wild card energy is, you are a little bit younger. You do have a more youthful look at things. And I think that's why maybe you don't think, that's why you just don't want to contribute, because it seems like you have all these like really mature adults around you, and your ideas are just so lighthearted and fun and those kind of things. And so here we have the Page of Swords, and he's just starting. I feel like this energy maybe took, like, again, it's bringing me back to like that surfer energy of like, rather than you making business plans and doing all those things, you just were catching waves. And so I keep hearing that that's refreshing. And so the last card to come out of this is the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's not saying that you need to just go out there and like rush and throw this in people's faces, but they are saying that there is now time that you need to go out and make movement. I feel like, let me pull just two more cards on this. 1 and 2. Okay. So we've got the Six of Swords, and then we got the King of Wands in reverse. These two coming out together is like moving away spiritually and emotionally from a very controlling and manipulative force. So there is no need to force things. There will be quick movement, but it will go at your pace. And it's just saying, have courage to let go of this fear of being too controlling and manipulative. Let the feminine kind of energy come out and let this new love form. And as this new love forms, it starts like poetry, the song in your heart, that thing that you want to sing to the world. It's saying, don't hold on to things too tight, because you need to step out of your comfort zone and get into your North Node, right? We've got the Hermit coming back and teaching others this new insights and downloads that they've got in fun, happy ways, right? This page is a little bit more youthful, a little bit more naive, but it is a youthful energy. It's more fun, and that's what you have to do. And so by you moving forward at your own pace, it's not going to be so controlling. It's going to be more lighthearted. So it's saying, have faith in your dreams and enjoying this healing time. Because by you finally showing your cards, it flips the script, and now you, where's the final card? We'll pull one last one. Now you have a third eye vision. This is reclaiming your mind. And look at this. It's almost like all the void, all the dark, but here's color. And that's you sharing your insights with everyone now. This card sums this up good. Here's the shadow sides, right? You can focus on the positive or the negative. And I feel like in these ones, in the shadow side is the controlling, manipulative. So the shadow really is, like in tarot, the Devil card. And that would be this King of Wands in reverse. This King of Wands is very controlling and manipulative and rude, pretty much. And so I feel like you just don't want to be that way. That's not your energy. But you are meant to be a teacher. You're meant to come and share your insights with the world. It's the ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. You're wise beyond your years, even though you feel very childish and that the things you say are so lovey-dovey and it's so symbolic and it's just stories, and you embrace it because you don't really have to work too hard. You don't. To be successful, the more and more we hoard onto things and try to control things, and like right at the beginning of this, the people who were in control of this story, they were hoarding on and holding. And I don't know if I'm kind of getting like maybe this was your father figure was like that, and so, or maybe not, maybe it's just society as a whole is very controlling. And so you're the wild card. You're the one here to be like, we just flipped the script. I just showed my cards, and my cards that I show you are really fun stories from the divine. They're focused in love, and it's like, what's this one say? Talent for creating and supporting life, of positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So that tribal unit is like finding that union within where everybody gets to thrive more, and there's more like fun and poetry, and everybody learns and everybody grows. It's not just like the top 1% getting lucky all the time. It's like, how does everyone thrive? We want you to come back and share your insights on how you navigated the shadow work, because there's this fine line. It's like you've learned to like really control the mind. I feel like the heart is very solid, especially your heart. Your heart is very passionate. And we don't want you to shut it down. We want you to express your love because it's so magnetic. And the heart, like I almost see like the mind just like getting in sync with the heart, no matter what. Even if you want to go into that fearful card, which is this one, letting go of fear, I feel like the heart, as she has her hand on his heart and it's rippling out, your heart is like a compass I'm seeing, and your mind always kind of comes back to that. And so that's what you need to share. There's so many people stuck in these moments that you know how to really shift into this one. And that's why we need you to step out of hermit mode and come back into your teacher mode. We need you to share your song and your poetry and your dance and your love, pretty much. Your love is unconditional, I hear, and like no others. So, Spirit, is there any last thing you want me to share on this? They brought me to this one and the Hermit card. So the Hermit, you've been sitting in your own energy for so long, getting these downloads, and you've been growing, and your heart's been evolving and all this. But they say you will do yourself no disservice. You'll do yourself a disservice if you sit and you keep holding on to it. Your gift is meant to be shared with others. You're meant to teach. And it's not so much that you have to force this teaching on someone else. It's just share your story. Share your poetry. Because if you don't share, there's a fine line. It just won't be as satisfying and fulfilling. So I just want to pull one last card about Bunny. So I was like, you know what I want? I want one last card about the cards being shown, right? Because in it said that the wild card has finally shown their cards, and I want to be like, when they do it, like, what is it? And it's like, only you can do that. Only you can decide. This is the blank wild card. This is the freaking wild card. You're the wild card. And so when you share your, I can't really be like, what kind of cards are you going to share? What's your insights? What's your downloads? Because they're yours and you are meant to share it. So wild card, get out there, share your love, because I feel like you've got this really cool balance between the masculine and the feminine, and you're very loving and encouraging and supporting. But mostly what I want to hear is your poetry. Express your soul's insights. I would love to hear that. The whole world wants to hear that. And I'm not hearing wants to hear that, I'm hearing needs to hear that. So we'll leave it there. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.